What's past is prologue. Wherefore should the heathens say, Where is now their God? But our God is in the heavens, he hath done whatsoever he hath pleased. Their idols are silver and gold, the work of men's hands. They have mouths, but they speak not. Eyes have they, but they see not. They have ears, but they hear not. Noses, but they smell not. They that make them are like unto them. So is everyone that trusteth in them. Psalms chapter 115, verses 2 to 8. So if you want to read the whole thing, you either have to pause it or whip out a Bible and look. "'Tis a great shame what happened in Ginevra." The post-revolution merrymaking continued into the wee hours of the morning. After things settled down and the men returned to the city, an elderly man calling himself Odilon showed himself before me. Despite his evident age, the man stood tall and spoke in a clear, confident voice. Looking into his deep sapphire eyes, I felt as though I could see everything he had borne witness to in these walls engraved within them. Odilon revealed himself as an ally of the revolution as having been in contact with Ginevra. Had things proceeded as initially planned, she was to take power and build the land anew with my assistance, but great change is never without its cost. Nevertheless, I am unspeakably grateful for how swiftly you managed to dethrone the former lord. Without your heroic efforts, we would still... Enough with your ass-kissing. Tell me who you are, and exactly what you're hoping to get out of me. No need to be so apprehensive, I assure you. I am more than happy to tell you everything you wish to know. I served as consul to the late Lord Jean-Francois Barney. It was I who aided the revolution from within the manor's walls, coordinating with Ginevra on the outside. So that'd make you the ones who ordered the gates open for us, then. Verily. Furthermore, I arranged to have a number of the guards turncoat. Well, you did fine work. We would have lost a lot more men without your efforts. I have to ask, though, where were you while it was actually happening? I don't recall seeing you anywhere. I took the liberty of finding myself shelter. How fortunate for you to be able to kick back and watch, only to crawl out of your hole after we relieve the lord of his head. Might you perchance be suggesting this old bag of bones take up the blade? That would only serve as an impediment to your success. 30 years ago, mayhap, but hardly could I point a sword straight today. Or perhaps you would say that I, as a supporter of your cause, should have been present for the occasion regardless. But of little aid I would have been, merely dying a fool's death, becoming naught but another body upon which the living would trek. You're skilled with your words, old man. Of course, 'tis my job. There is but one service I can provide you, my knowledge. Knowledge? Mean you intend to serve as the Lord's consul? For what other reason would I lend my hand to this revolution? You expect me to just take your word, to trust you. Surely you're aware that you cannot rightfully govern this territory without the acknowledgement of the neighboring counts and the king. I have knowledge and connections which would prove invaluable in establishing you as a legitimate and qualified to inherit the throne. Yes, I know. I did not saunter into here blind. I still hadn't figured out how I would accomplish that, but... Wait, I recognize you from somewhere. I remember. You were here during the revolt 3 years ago. You're the one who helped Barney escape. 'Twas I indeed. That's all the more reason not to trust you. You sat back and watched, not a damn peep, as that clown of a lord left his people to rot. Like hell I'm letting you be my consul. You are an astute young man, but still far too green for your own good. And you fail to fully separate yourself from your old life. Excuse me? I assure you I was no more fond of Lord Barney's predilections than you. But as I'm sure you are aware, he was quick to send his opponents off to the gallows. And he would be no more merciful to his consul than a slum dweller. My objections would have ensured one thing, a swift, meaningless death. Moreover, you knew it was not yet time and stayed your hand, nay? I too had reached the same conclusion and was waiting the appropriate time. The perfect time to rearrange the board. You must dispense with the childish emotion that controls you, Act exclusively in service of that which most benefits you, and you cannot do so without someone to guide you. You are still merely a fledgling young man. You know not up from down in this vast new world, and you have neither an army nor the weapons with which to defend yourself. Should you go out into that world unaccompanied, it will snap your neck before you feel the hands upon your skin. And what benefits are you hoping to reap from this? You're not acting out of a love for the people, that much is obvious. A chance to fulfill my duties as consul to the Lord. My expertise went largely unused under Lord Barnier's rule. 'Twas a deeply frustrating time for me. Though if I may be blunt, perhaps I should say that I would like to die knowing I have accomplished something worthwhile with my life. I can promise you I have no intention of mistreating the people for my own personal amusement. You still give me no reason to actually trust you. Allow my work to speak for my words. Allow me to proffer unto you my knowledge, that it might be of service to you. I don't completely trust this man, nor do I think I ever will. He's after something. Probably wants to use me as a puppet under the guise of assisting me as my consul. He makes a good point, though. I'll need someone to show me the ropes if I want any chance of governing effectively. Have you come to a decision? Okay. It's a pleasure to have you, Odilon. At your service. That said, try anything, and you'll be out the door faster than you can blink. Understood. Good. Now, if I may, I would like to offer my first instruction. And what would that be? You will need to make a formal proclamation of your succession. There are still many among your people who know not who you are. Thus, you must declare yourself the rightful heir, the lost son of Lord Barney's predecessor. You must assume a new name. Say again. The name by which you are known before is but a veil behind which you guarded your noble identity, and the time has come now for you to reclaim your true self. Hold on a second. I'm not. Yes, I'm aware of your lineage. Okay, then what name do you suppose I should take? You shall assume his name, Jean-Francois Barnier. Is this some kind of sick joke? You're insane if you think I'm taking on that psychopathic killer's name. Why on this green earth would I ever want to call myself after the man I dethroned? Among the nobility, names are oft passed on, from father to son, from brother to brother. But why his name? A name associated with fear and tyranny. Are you trying to hobble me before I take my first step? You'll remove the stain his deeds have left upon the name. Lord Barnier killed his father, brothers, and all their families and attendants, as Ginevra likely told you. Why do you suppose he killed them? Are you mocking me, old man? He killed them because he was a damn madman. Lord Barnier was not the rightful heir. Excuse me? He was merely a stand-in to be disposed of and quietly replaced when the time came. However, he grew voracious for power, fixated on becoming the Lord himself. So he killed everyone who stood in his way, both the Barnier family and the attendants who knew the truth. Though he failed to realize that the Lord had sired another son. You, the rightful inheritor of the Jean-Francois Barnier name. So that's our story, huh? I'm not the fake. He was. When the truth is revealed, the people will be enraptured, and crucially, the damage to the Barnier family name will be minimized. After all, the Barniers were but victims of the charlatan's avarice. As you are to take on the Barnier family name, it is to your benefit that the reputation you inherit is as unblemished as possible. Furthermore, you have nothing to gain from keeping your present name. No longer are you the man you were in the slums. You must become a new man entirely. Enough. I need time to think. A day. Give me just one. I cannot. 'Tis a matter of the utmost importance. You must act swiftly, for the opportunity will pass and the tides will turn against you anon. The people are on your side for now. However, should you fail to expeditiously demonstrate that you, as their new lord, are likewise on their side, you will find yourself with more than counts upon your doorstep. must decide now. Sir. All right. I'll swallow my pride. I knew there would need to be some changes before I embarked on this road. So this isn't unexpected. Just moving quicker than I was prepared for. A wise decision. Now, before we move on to the next order of business, I must ask, are you physically well enough to remain on your feet for a short while longer? You will need to stand before your people and make a speech. Nevertheless, it is evident that you are wounded from your battle, and it would reflect poorly on your accomplishments for you to collapse during your first appearance. I'll be fine. I can hold myself up long enough to give a speech. Oh ho ho. Youth, what a wonderful thing. You must be sure to get your rest once you have finished. I will arrange for the best doctor to come examine you. Appreciated. Now then, let us be off. You need merely repeat after me. Did you hear the new Lord's speech? Barney was a fraud this entire time. No way. By God, I should have skipped work and gone up to the manor to see it. You still got a chance, go down the square. The town crier spreading word of the whole thing. Did you hear the new Lord led the charge on the revolution? And he was the real Jean-Francois Barnier. I heard, I was there for his speech. He's so young, and easy in the eyes to boot. They say he spent years living in the slums, hiding his true identity. That must have been so difficult for him. At long last, we're free from our suffering. Free from the terror of Lord Barnier. Cheers for the new Lord. Oh, give me a break. You're no damn lord. How goes it, Maria? You look like you ain't slept in weeks. Where's your smile, girl? Today's a day for celebrating. Go fuck yourself. What? You're the one who pushed him into this. What are you getting pissy about? You pressured him into this dumbass revolution, into becoming the fucking lord. Whoa, that ain't what happened at all. Jacopo's the one who proposed the whole thing. Bullshit, he was trying to talk sense into you at the Midsummer Festival. For the love of Christ, what crawled up your ass and died? The batshit asshole's gone, and now we got someone on our side in power. What's there to complain about? Is there anything in that meat head of yours? What was that? You do realize he can never come back now, right? He's the Lord. He's gone, and he's gone for good. Up there in that manor all by himself. And you dragged him up to the top of that hill and left him there. I get that you want someone to take this out on, but Jacopo was also the one who proposed becoming the Lord. No. I didn't push a damn thing on him. He showed up one day with a ring bearing the Barney family crest, and told everyone he was royalty and had a claim to the throne. This is insane. It was his words that sparked the revolution. There's no way. Jacopo is royalty? You need to get a better sense of humor. My thoughts exactly at first too, but then I saw the crest on the ring. It's the real deal. Did you miss the whole part when he put on the ring in front of everyone before we stormed the manor? This whole spiel about becoming the heir? That was pretty damn convincing if I do say so myself. You seriously think I was there for some stupid pep talk? Ain't you his friend? I feel like a friend should be rooting for his success, you know? That's what I'm doing. I can say that much. Anyway, I got a hot date with a couple of kegs, so I'm out of here. Unless you want to come with. We're gonna be partying all night long. Like hell I'm coming. Just thought I'd ask. Try not to look so sour all the time, okay? You're much prettier when you're smiling. Choke on a dick, asshole. Duly noted. Later. I can't root for him because he's my friend. I know better than anyone that he's in over his head. All I can do is pray for you, Jacopo. Pray that you'll always be the Jacopo we know. That this won't change you. We're still friends, right? Even if we're worlds apart now. After giving me just enough time to recover, Odilon quickly got to work instructing me in everything I needed to know to be a lord. My first priority was to revitalize the city, clean up the mess my predecessor had left it in. As much as I wanted to ensure that everyone had food and water, it simply wasn't possible to make happen overnight. We would need to significantly expand our farmland, build additional granaries, repair existing irrigation canals, not to mention crack down on crime and disorder. There was so much to do it was almost dizzying. The last thing I had time to do was whine. That said, none of it could happen with a snap of the fingers. It would take time and manpower, which meant we'd have to use existing stores in the meantime. I asked the people, particularly among the upper class, to relinquish ownership of their stockpiles for me to distribute among the population. That would allow everyone to make it through the transitional period, I figured. Naturally, though, not everyone was happy with the arrangement. But the cries of dissatisfaction were drowned out by cheers of support when I explained that it was for everyone's sake, that we would need to band together to carry the whole city through what would be a rocky transition. As I was patting myself on the back for a job well done, Odilon shook his head and said, "'Twill hold a year at most." We have enough stores to last at least 3 years, though. 2 if we want to be extra safe. They will set your manor ablaze long before the stores run dry. Excuse me, why would they? I'm obviously doing everything in my power to revitalize the city. And I was the one who freed them from the claws of the tyrant. The people only see the results. Though they accept your promises of improvement now, if in a year's time they do not see those words bear fruit, their trust in you will wither away. That you came from the slums is viewed now as a heroic rise to power, but your past will soon be turned against you, used to delegitimize you. You must produce for them tangible results. God, I knew this wouldn't be easy, but still. It boils my blood to think my predecessor sat around on his ass all day. Did he even accomplish anything in his entire time as Lord? I can think of only one truly positive effect on his regime. His support for the arts. His what? Surely you've seen the numerous pieces of art adorning this manor's walls. He would often treat himself with works from the finest artists and artisans in the land. You mean all those paintings and vases and fancy drapes? Bunch of worthless junk, every last bit of it. None of it will do anything to fill the people's empty stomachs. 'Twould seem you understand not the value of art. Well, I did grow up in the slums. Do you know what purpose art serves? To make you feel better? It's nice to have around, but not much more than that. Bribes, my boy. Those who hunger for power similarly hunger for ways to flaunt it, and the singularity of a piece of art fills that role. Some have a genuine appreciation for art, others merely use it as a tool. But nonetheless, skilled craftsmen, artists, and their work naturally gravitate towards those with power. It would be wise for you to consider dressing somewhat less pedestrian soon. Now, we should be able to put the former Lord's possessions to good use in helping you build up valuable relationships. You mean start handing out bribes? Indeed, but remember, they're negotiation tools. You must use them where they provide you the greatest returns. Negotiation, huh? Alright, I think I can see what you're getting at. If I want to revitalize the city in a year, I'm going to need help from my good neighbors. In exchange for provisions and workers, I offer the various counts pieces from Barney's collections. Sounds about right? Precisely. My, you are much cleverer than I would expect of a man from the slums. Now, if only you would become accustomed to this manner of thinking, you could become a fine leader in short order. I appreciate the concern, old man. I'll dispatch messengers and arrange meetings with the Count so we can begin anon. And I hope I do not have to remind you, but you will need to be very careful with your words, Lord Barney, eh? Yeah, I know. You seem quite tired, Lord Barney, eh? You think? Every day I have to go meet with someone new, and I spend all my travel time learning to read and write. It's enough to exhaust anyone. 'Tis necessary nonetheless. Illiteracy will only... Yes, I know. You said I look tired, and I'm telling you why that is. I never said I had a problem with it. I overstepped. My apologies. Your diligence has been invaluable in earning the Count's favor, Lord Barnier. They think quite fondly of you. Is that so? Because that's certainly not the impression I'm getting. They put on a facade of friendliness, but beneath the surface they're all laughing, trying to figure out how to best use me, or just outright scoffing. Not a one of them sincerely trusts me. I'm just a pawn to them. We are all pieces on one another's boards. What's that supposed to mean? It would be most prudent to consider that unqualified friendship simply does not exist in high society. All interpersonal relationships are built upon a foundation of mutual benefit, save for exceedingly rare, short-lived exceptions. Nonetheless, you should not consider being used as a bad thing. We all climb atop each other's boards, offering ourselves up as a powerful piece. And so do they offer themselves to us. Should you wish to survive in high society, you must always ensure your peers see you as a piece worth playing. That would mean you're putting yourself out there as well, old man. Indeed, I am your pawn, Lord Barney. I offer myself to you, and you're using me. I gain this position as counsel to the Lord. 'Tis a far more practical and reliable system than one founded on something so uncertain as emotion, would you not say? Which is to say, I'm a pawn to him as much as he is to me. I suppose so. Then I too will have to ensure I remain useful, lest I be swept aside and another Barney brought in to take my place. Oh ho ho, sharp words, my lord. But worry not, for I have no qualms with your performance at present. Now, Lord Barney, we must discuss your next... Hold on a sec, would you? Yes, sir? Do you mind not calling me Lord Barney in private? I can understand why you'd want to keep up the charade even when no one's looking. But frankly, I'm just not comfortable with it. Very well. Then my lord it shall be. Can't say I'm surprised you wouldn't use my real name. But still, that'll do, thank you. Not at all. Now back to business, my lord. Took long enough, we're finally starting to see some real progress. Who knew negotiation was so much work? You should be proud of your accomplishments, my lord. 'Tis hardly an easy feat to amass that much manpower and resources in only 6 months. Doing better than expected, huh? How's public opinion looking? Reports should be coming in by now, I assume. Some dissatisfaction, but numbers are within expectations. Dissatisfied with what? I spent every waking moment these past 6 months working my ass off to revitalize this city, and people aren't happy with that? They should be jumping with joy. My lord, you must understand that it is impossible to satisfy everyone. A degree of discontent is to be expected. Even so, it should be blindly obvious how much better I'm doing than that previous basket of rainbows and kittens. All is forgotten in the gentle ebb and flow of time. Past injustices matter little in the face of the present. It hasn't even been a year. The people do not genuinely care about you, nor will they ever. They may sing your praises one day and forget about you the next. I believe you've been through this before. Surely there's someone out there who gets it. That is wishful thinking, my lord. You could work yourself to your very bones, and the people would merely see you as fulfilling your duty. You must not seek their approval. More will be expected of you, and more will be the subject of undeserved resentment, for the simple reason that you exist in a position of power. Only those in a similar position can understand your hardships. Ultimately, then, you have 2 choices. Either dedicate yourself in service of your people, or mercilessly exploit them like your predecessor. I won't follow in that bastard's footsteps. I pray your heart remains true, that you remain a wise and caring lord. Damn it. So what specifically aren't people happy about? The foremost is food shortages. This was anticipated, and all we can do is ask them to persevere. The second comes from the upper class. Go on. They are quite naturally displeased about being made to surrender their stockpiles. It would be prudent to offer them remuneration in the near future. They're doing well enough for themselves already. My lord, I know, just letting off some steam. So I get to go butter up all the rich men in town. Wonderful. The whole idea was to help the less well-off, yet here I am. I understand that you are not pleased by this, my lord, but do remember you have more to fear from a few of the upper class banding together than the entirety of the slums. for they wield a most troublesome weapon, an upper-class upbringing. They know precisely who to tell, and what to tell about you to tarnish your reputation in the blink of an eye. And do not placate yourself by thinking the common man will see through the attempts to undermine you. Even if they did, an unlikely supposition, they could do nothing to counter it. They are powerless. But it was the people at the bottom who pulled most of the weight, organizing and executing the revolution. 'Twas an exceptional set of circumstances that allowed the revolution to take place as it did, not the least of which was the Lord's status as unequivocally evil in the eyes of the people. You will not find them all agreeing on anything so readily now. Alright, I get it. The point is I gotta win over all the rich people or my whole operation's going to come to a grinding halt, right? So as much as it rubs me the wrong way, I'll do what I have to do. A wise decision, my lord. Is that the last of the complaints? No, the influx of immigrants has caused an increase in general unrest. Of course it has. I bring them in to help with the restoration effort, and they go and cause their own new set of problems. It's like I'm chasing my tail here. So long as there are people under your authority, never will you be completely free of strife. You're telling me. So would increasing the guards present in the city help keep the peace? Most of those with the training necessary already deployed, mean you will need to have new guards trained from the ground up. You'll have to mobilize them where they are most needed. In other words, tighten your grip on the slums. So now I gotta take away their freedom. I know you have a personal attachment to that area, my lord, but you must cast that aside. No longer are you the man you once were. The slums should have never been allowed to fall into such lawlessness in the first place. You will merely be restoring it to its proper state. If you truly wish to bring prosperity to this land, you must eventually scale down and then eliminate the slums. But if I get rid of the slums, I'll be getting rid of their home. My lord? I know, I understand what you're getting at, and I understand that everything you're saying is perfectly logical. Can we hold off on that for a bit? A bunch of guys down there formed this peacekeeper group to, you know, keep the peace. They'd gladly help out if we could talk to them, I'm sure. We can scale up our patrols, but no stepping on their toes. Got it? As you command, my lord. Hard to believe it's been a whole year. Feels like I only just started yesterday, yet also like I've been doing this forever. You are looking somewhat worse for wear, my lord. Do I? Who am I kidding? You're right. On the other hand, you don't look like you've lost even an hour of sleep this year. Goes to show how inexperienced I really am. While it is true that I've been in this position for many years, I also do not bear nearly as much responsibility as you. I merely stand in the background and offer you small pieces of advice. All the while, you face the crowds directly, negotiate with counts, and make dozens of difficult decisions. If there is one thing I've learned in all my years, is that I could never begin to imagine the weight a ruler must carry. Never mind one who was never raised to take the throne and thrust into the labyrinth of politics and high society. 'Twould be a greater surprise if the trials had not taken their toll. That reminds me, Barney was lord for a full decade before we took him out, wasn't he? And as I recall, he wasn't as much of a despot early on. If just 1 year has taken this much out of me, how much longer before I'm no longer able to act like a reasonable human being? Don't think like that, Jacopo. Actually, forget it. What matters is that we seem to be doing a good job minimizing discontent. Indeed, you have successfully made it through the first year. The city is decidedly more presentable than it was when you took the throne. There are precious few who could replicate your accomplishments in such a short time, my lord. You would do well to take pride in your work. Pushing to do everything so quickly has taken its toll. The people are worn thin, slaves are dying by the droves. I still have a ways to go before there's anything I can be proud of. Slaves are tools of progress, my lord. Tools do not last forever and must be replaced regularly. And you can't build a house with your bare hands, I get it. You learn quickly. Not even a year ago, I've been up in my arms about the number of slaves dying. But now they're just numbers to me. Apparently my worldview has changed quite a bit. It is about time we start considering our next step. Meaning? Your efforts thus far have merely been toward repairing the damage caused by your predecessor. You make it sound like all this has just been warm-up. My apologies. I did not mean to discount your great efforts, my lord. I was simply speaking out of the grander scheme. Yeah, I got that. You want to settle on a direction for how to grow the city, right? Indeed. The status quo is vastly inadequate for bringing prosperity to this land, and there is no saying when the surrounding territories may cease being so friendly, and set their eyes upon conquering us. But of course, you cannot keep your eyes trained outward in fear of attack, and allow the land to devour itself from the inside either. So what you're saying is it's a balancing act. Precisely. So, what kind of advancements do I want to pursue? There is something that's been on my mind. This land is ill-suited to growing crops. When I lived down in the slums, I had no perspective and figured that what we produced here was no different than anywhere else. But now I know better. The grapes used for our wine are miserable compared to what I've been served elsewhere, as is nearly everything else we grow. I can only assume the land itself is to blame. Oh ho ho! The wine from the south is indeed exceptional. You quite nearly gave me a heart attack when you leapt from your chair in the middle of a meeting, shouting, "This is nothing like the wine from home." Enough. That never happened. It was my first time tasting anything like it, alright? Anyone would have had the same reaction. Oh ho ho. You have grown much, but nevertheless, you are still quite green. God, I really need to watch myself around this man. In any case, it would be ideal if we could begin producing higher quality grapes, not necessarily to compete with the South, but enough to be serviceable. Efforts to improve our farmland are underway, although it could take some time before we see the progress. Have you any propositions, my lord? Actually, I was thinking it might be best to cut back on agriculture. Do elaborate. What if we were to build up the city into a trade hub of sorts? Meaning, you wish to open our gates to our neighbors. Exactly. One thing the city has going for itself is the wealth of artisans. But for years, we've only ever exported our goods. I want to bring people here to purchase. We reduce taxes for merchants, give them special privileges, set tariffs and border taxes lower than they are in the capital, and business will naturally find its way here. This land may be less than optimal for farming, but it's more than adequate for trade. We're in a convenient location to serve as a hub for the surrounding realms. Rather than close our borders and wall ourselves off entirely, opening up and making ourselves of value to our neighbors is far more likely to dissuade potential invasion. We're all pieces on another's board, right? Who says that can't apply to the entire city? The best way to expand without stepping on anyone's toes is to do so in a way that benefits them as well as us. What do you think? A rather aggressive strategy you propose, my lord. If I may be so bold, there will be many obstacles to this plan's success. You will need to arrange meetings with the head of each realm you intend to invite, the order and timing of which will be crucial to its success. Furthermore, the influx of outsiders will be a source of much tension among your people. So you think I'm aiming too high? You are indeed aiming exceedingly high. Your obstacles will be numerous and precipitous. Nonetheless, obstacles can be overcome. Your exhaustion is nothing compared to the weariness that awaits you down this path. Do be well aware of this, my lord. You're damn right I am. If I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna go all in. The Lord's manor sat atop a tall hill. Gazing out, the city stretched before me. Countless columns of smoke rising from the buildings, the people scurrying about like so many ants. From up here, I had the perfect view of the bustle of the city, but I was too far away to feel the life breathing through it. To think I used to be one of those tiny little specks. Thousands of people lived there. They had families, jobs, friends, hobbies. But as much as I was cognizant of that fact, I no longer grasped it on anything more than a conceptual level. It was incredible just how much of my view of the world had changed in merely a year's time. I'm going to go out into the world, I said. I thought that climbing my way to the top of the ladder would let me see it, would let me experience it, that with power, I could have the whole world at my fingertips. But reality wasn't so simple. This sure isn't what I was looking for. Hell, I feel like the chain has gotten tighter around my neck. There's no way to truly grasp the view from this height without climbing up and seeing it for yourself. And that was exactly where I was a year ago, blind to the reality of life in the upper echelons, fantasizing about a world that didn't exist. Unlike the me of the past, I did have the satisfaction of feeling like I was accomplishing big things. But was that really worth cutting myself off from all my friends? Did those achievements really justify a bloody revolution? Or I suppose I should ask, was this work valuable enough to me to justify it at all? Reminiscing about days long gone wasn't going to help anything. In fact, it only served to cause me pain. I couldn't return to that time. This was where my quest for power had brought me, and now I had to live out my days as lord of this land, telling myself day after day that it was far better than being a powerless slum rat. God, I've been so busy these past few weeks. My eyes are... One day, I'll show you the world. Do you ever get tired of saying that? You've got to think big, dream. The world's changing all around us. A life just fighting to make it day by day is hardly a life at all. I don't want to spend the rest of my days confined to this tiny little corner of the world. Well, try not to let your dreams grow so big they crush you. I'm sure I'll be fine. I'll just have you sing for me whenever it gets overwhelming. Why would I be there? Why wouldn't you? It's hard to show you the world if I don't bring you with me. Knowing you, you still won't know where you want to go. So I'll bring you with me. We can find a place for you together. Pretty good deal, huh? I don't need to see the world. All I want is... Dozed off for a second there. Feels like those days were an eternity ago. I don't need to see the world. All I want is... All you want is what, Morgana? What were you trying to tell me?